I mean, when you sit down to write Confessions,
Mm-hmm.
that was one of those moments that changed the game
Mm-hmm.
as a songwriter because you're like, the conversation is the song.
Well, really, that was before Confessions. That happened when You Got It Bad. So You Got It Bad was the biggest lesson I learned as a producer and a songwriter.
What was that lesson?
Well, as a producer, the lesson was less is more, right? You Got It Bad has like 7 sounds in it. You know what I mean? It's not a whole lot of clutter. It's beautiful chord progressions, but it's not a whole lot of clutter. It's not stacked with a bunch of different sounds. It's a kick, snare, hi-hat, a keyboard sound, one bass sound, and a guitar. You know what I mean? It's very, very, straight to the point. The vocals are there's not a whole lot of harmonies in the hook.
Yeah.
It's all unison. It's very, very to the point. Usher's vocal is sitting dead on top of the track, so you hear him loud and clear, but the track is still bumping. Says I learned things about mixing. I learned things about actually producing a track, like putting together a simple track that's powerful. You know what I mean? Jermaine taught me a lot in that one session. And then songwriting wise, that was the first time that I had an opportunity to just talk. Like just be in a room and talk with Jermaine and Usher, and because they were talking, and I was like, are we gonna do this song? Or you know what I mean? It was like, it was like my first real session with Usher. So we're sitting in the studio, and they're just talking, and I'm just like, okay, I'm just sitting behind the keyboard, like,
when we gonna start?
Where we gonna start? You know what I mean? And after about an hour and a half of talking, I realized I was like, we're writing. Okay. Now, so now let me engage in this conversation because we're actually writing right now, and that's how You Got It Bad came about. And now I always tell people, I get the concept of the song is in the conversation because that was the first time it ever happened. We were just sitting around talking, and literally 2 hours later, after the conversation, we wrote You Got It Bad.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, did you think when you were sitting in that session that record would take off the way that it did?
After we finished it, yes.
Yeah.
It was also, that's another thing. It was also another moment was that it was the first time I actually heard a song, finished the song, and knew it was a hit. Like, up until that point, you do songs and you hope.
Yeah.
Songs and you hope. Okay,
Yeah.
I hope people like the song. Hope the song. It feels good to me. When You Got It Bad, it was like, oh, okay, this is what a hit feels like.
This is a hit.
You know what I mean?
It's like L.A. Reid, like in his book, when in his memoir, he talks about those moments in the studio where it was like he knew "Unbreak My Heart" for Tony Braxton was the hit.
Yeah. That was the moment. It was a aha moment for me. I think also, Let's Get Married felt like that too. When we finished Let's Get Married, it felt like
this a hit.
This sounds like it's gonna be big.
Yeah.
Now at that point, I had no idea because I was really new to the game, and I was just happy to be, in the room. You know what I'm saying?
You happy to be in that you was on the call sheet. Yeah.
But by the time we got You Got It Bad, I was like, when we finished You Got It Bad, it was like, oh, this feels very, very different. You know what I mean? It feels like I put out some songs that were hits, but it's like this finna be like one of them.
This about to take off.
Yeah.
I know it had to have felt like that with Emancipation of Mimi.
Yeah. I mean, I think that with Mariah, you just, once she's a hit machine.
She's Mariah.
So it's like, you just buckle up and you just have fun. You know what I mean? I think ultimately I tell people that emancipation. First of all, I always have fun with Mariah. We always have fun.
You said y'all be having a red wine.
Yeah,
Mariah
we always have fun.
Yeah.
We always have fun. But I feel like that was the first time I actually looked back on a session or was in a session and was like, yo, this is, I mean, I always have fun in my studio sessions, but working is fun to me. So creating is fun. But this was something that was kind of like, she just said, Mariah got a different kind of bag, when it comes, she got different kind of money, different kind of, different kind of everything.
It's a different experience.
It's a different experience, you know what I mean? So the way that she would set things up, before she got there, and it would be like all the things, the studio would be tricked out, and it'd be all the, it just, and she comes in floating, and she has her aura is just, you know what I mean. She has a great spirit and just a great. She's eager to create. So then that is all that rubs off on everybody in the room, and you kind of just like, um, and then you fly to New York, and you work, and you go to the penthouse, and you writing at a crib, and it's just all these different things that she just has a different kind of motion when it comes to creating. You know what I mean? And it probably, like I say, Emancipation probably was the most fun I've ever had making a record.
Wow. I mean, 38 consecutive number ones. Which has been your favorite to write and produce?
That's a good question. Ironically, there's most recently, I would say we had a lot of fun making "Don't Waste My Time" for Usher. I think that there's a funny story behind it because I jump on my live every now and again. I'll DJ on my live, or when I'm making a beat, I'll jump on, and we were creating the song "Don't Waste My Time." Originally, that beat was originally for Monica. We were making a song for Monica, and I cut the live on, and I started creating. Me and Jermaine started creating what would become the track. And the A&R, who's my business partner and one of my best friends, named Keith Thomas, who also owns this brand, Ladies of R&B, with me. He jumped on my live and was like, "I'm on my way up there. Like, that's Usher song." You know what I mean? I'm like, "No, man, we're doing this song for Monica, man." No, man, that's Usher song. I'm on my way up there. And he came up there, he basically hijacked the record. Like, basically was like, "Nope, this record's for Usher." And then Mark Pitts leaked it, and then it became a thing. So I like that story a lot. I would say it's hard to pick one. He Can't Love You is a great one because it's kind of like, out the box. You have a big R&B record.
That was the thing that really put you on the map.
Get Gone is a great one. There's another early one that's just out the box. You know what I'm saying? I mean, naturally, Be Without You is a moment.
I think that what I saw on your Instagram, 15 weeks at number one.
Mm-hmm.
Mary J. Blige, Be Without You.
Yeah, it's the biggest R&B song of all time, according to Billboard. So
wow.
That was a moment. That was a great moment.
And you saw that one in the studio, that this is the hit.
After we mixed it, that record actually gave me, like, it made the hairs on my neck stand up.
Wow.
It was kind of like, oh, this is going to change my life.
Wow.
But I knew it. Like, it was like, I bet at that point I was had made records, already made hits and stuff like that. But it was a lot happening in my career at that time. It was a lot of tension, a lot of just, tug of war going on.
Probably growing pains.
Yeah, it was growing pains, relationships in the business.
Yeah.
I was a lot of my relationships in the business were being tested. You know what I mean? And it was a moment like, can he do this? It was almost like, like.
So people were doubting you in this.
That's what it felt like. And maybe it's something I was imagining. I don't know, but that's what it felt like. It felt like it was
what year is this?
2005.
Yeah.
So it felt like I was doing well. I was doing okay, but it just felt like, I wasn't getting I was making a lot of records. I was making records with Jermaine. I was making a lot of records on my own. And I felt like I still wasn't getting, like, the proper, like, looks or the proper, like, respect. It kind of felt like I was just kind of like on autopilot.
So this was a proving record in a lot of ways.
Yeah, if I look back on it, it definitely it feels that way. It felt that way. You know what I'm saying? So when we got the call to do it, to write the song, me and Jonte, I just was like, it happened so fast. The song came together so quickly.
Really? One of
the fastest songs I've ever done. You know what I mean? So I knew that when that happened, and we finished the demo, and it was like, this is good. The demo was still kind of rough, but it was like, this is good.
And this was always for Mary J. Blige.
We did the song specifically for Mary J. Blige. We got the call, and my manager called me. He called me with Mary's ex-husband and Jimmy Iovine on Kendo and Jimmy on the call, and it was like, yeah, can you make us one of those rhythmic crossover type songs that you do for whoever whatever. I was like, okay. And long story short, I called John on the phone. I was like, hey, I just got this call from my manager. I guess I already called John and then I called John after and was like, hey, yo, I'm going, can you come by here? I'm gonna start this track. I bet. And literally I made the track like was so fast. It was ridiculously fast. And by the time I played a little bit over the phone for Jonte. By the time Jonte got there, I mean the song was pretty much written. He basically written the song on the way from the house to the studio.
To the studio.
So by the time he got to the studio, we were just ready. It was almost like we only sat for like maybe, he played it for maybe 5 minutes. The sequence like 5 to 10 minutes. And he was like, okay, I'm ready. No paper, no pen, just went in there, sang the song down.
Wow.
Yeah.
If that blessed you, trust me, you've only scratched the surface. There's so much more wisdom, truth, and transformation waiting in the full conversation. Click the link in the caption below to watch the entire interview, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode of Vault Empowers Talks.